Hello everybody. Today's geography lesson is about hot and cold climates of the world. And you are going to have a look today at different climate zones. So you will see them on a map and you will understand where the hot places of the earth are and where the cold places are. And we're going to have a look at the animals that live in those places too. So some key words for today's lesson: northern and southern hemisphere, hot, cold, climate zones, weather and habitats. So which hemisphere? As we know, the earth is divided in half using the equator as the middle line. Anything above that is known as the northern hemisphere and underneath is the southern hemisphere. Remember, hemisphere means half a sphere. Okay, so that's bringing in some of your maths work from recently too. Now have a think. This is a map showing the northern and southern hemispheres. I wonder, can you name one of the countries in the northern hemisphere? And have a look at the map. Can you name anywhere in the southern hemisphere? Maybe that's a country or a continent, maybe an ocean. Now, what is the difference between weather and climate? Hopefully you've seen the video clip that I've uploaded already. But we should know that weather is the day-to-day changes that we see happen. So one day it could be sunny, one day it could be rainy, the next it could be snowy. Who knows? Climate is the average of all the weather. So we look at a period of 30 years for a place to see what the climate is likely to be. So think, what's the weather like in our country? Pretty changeable. Okay, is it hot? Is it cold? Is it changeable? It could be any of those, couldn't it? But I think changeable is probably the most sensible. What would you like our weather to be like? Do you like it to be hot all of the time? Or cold? Or do you like a mix of everything? Countries have different types of climate around the world. Some can have a hot climate and others can have a cold climate. Now have a look here. This map of the world is split up into different zones. And on these different zones, you can see the areas that are pink tend to be the really cold parts of the earth. The areas that are green around the middle, those are the very hottest places. And the ones that are in yellow, they're the temperate zones. So they're the ones that are in between. Sometimes they can be cold, sometimes they can be warm. Okay. Now let's have a look at the cold or polar climates. Those were the pink areas on our map. We've got pictures of Finland, the Arctic, Norway and Greenland. Looks very beautiful, but a little bit chilly. Now some warmer climates. Australia, North Africa, the Middle East and Mexico. Wow, look at all those orangey tones there where the sand is. Tropical climates, these were some of the greener areas on our map. So we've got the Philippines, Indonesia, India and the Caribbean. Don't they look lush and beautiful places to be? Now these are more like the things that we recognise, the temperate climates of the UK. We've got some coastal areas there and some countryside areas. A lot of it looks like where we live, doesn't it? Now have a look at the map. This shows you the different areas on the climate zones. I want you to have a go at colouring them in now and making sure that you use the key as well. You can flip back and have a look in the PowerPoint to check your answers. Okay, make sure you fill in the key when you've chosen your colours. And then think about the animals that live in hot countries and the ones that live in cold countries. These are some of the creatures we recognise from colder places and from hotter places. Now, can you cut out or label on your map the animals that come from those hot or cold places? So where do they live? Use your knowledge, or you could use a book or the internet to help you find that out. Hopefully by now you can understand where hot and cold places are in the world.